Hello there boys and girls, welcome to Scottish Geeks. We're here to talk about Doctor Who again. This was Series 9 Episode 7 I believe. It was called Zygon Invasion. At the very start of the episode we see a little bit of a flashback to the time when it was the Doctor Who movie. You know, the one that was in the cinema, the 50th anniversary special where the Zygons and humans made the peace treaty, etc. We get to see a lot of the older Doctors and stuff. Seem to be really big in showing all the older Doctors again for some reason. I reckon it's going to be some sort of a big story where some of the older Doctors may or may not come back into it. Especially what with John Hurt doing some of the audiobooks. So he is in the UK at the minute, and Catherine Tate and David Tennant are starting to do the audiobooks as well. So I wonder if they're going to make a mild comeback. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, so moving on with the story, we start off where we see the Doctor. No, we see Osgood, sorry. We'll go to the Doctor in a minute. We see Osgood, or Osgoods, the Osgood sisters, chatting about how they were Zygon and human, and they were basically peace. The Doctor had given them something called the Final Sanction. Now we all know Final Sanction is a bad thing in Doctor Who because it always means the end of the world. Anyway, so one of the Zygon / humans gets destroyed by the Mistress or Missy or the Master or whatever you want to call him. In a previous episode we've all seen that. But it turns out the other one was still alive, still hanging about, and is now wearing question marks on the lapels. We'll get around to that later on. So she gets kidnapped by a Zygon, they go moving away, and there's a whole terrorism thing going on here. But who are the bad guys? You know, are the Zygons bad guys? Are the humans the bad guys? We'll find out later on, etc, etc. So then we get to the part with the Doctor landing his TARDIS, sitting on the swing and trying to get in contact with Clara. Clara, of course, not being approachable just now, with a really stupid phone, sort of answer phone message thing. What was it? I'm either on the tube or in outer space. What the fuck? Anyway, so the Doctor meets these two creepy little girls, and I spent the entire time he was talking to them thinking he is completely fucked up and this is not actually Zygons, and these two wee lassies are going to be absolutely traumatised, but no, they actually were Zygons. They then get kidnapped and pulled away. Then we finally see what's happening with Clara. She goes to talk to this little boy, and she finally gets a message where the Doctor says, "Hi, I'm Dr. Disco." Fucking hell. 127 missed calls. Seriously, do you not look at your phone? My gods, women. Right, so we've got this whole thing where like Zygons are kidnapping other Zygons, or they're kidnapping humans, and this whole thing about truth and consequence, which we'll come to later on. So the Doctor then asks about Osgood, so then they go and they discover that this truth and consequence is a place in New Mexico. So everyone splits up as per usual. Clara gets left behind. The Brigadier's daughter, Kate, goes to Truth and Consequence, and the Doctor goes to another settlement where they discovered that they were just about to bomb the Zygon hive or whatever it is. There was so much going on in this story. It was so much. Basically, I think it was a bit complicated, but it was going back to proper Doctor Who. You know, there was a proper adventure going on. Everyone separated. Everything could go wrong, and what was going to go wrong did go wrong. For example, when Clara discovered that the little boy's parents were actually Zygons, and then they go down to the left, they find out in Zygon lair, blah blah blah. Kate Lethbridge Stewart then finds out that the town she went to is completely devoid of any life whatsoever apart from one cop, and it just seems like a whole racism thing and all that. You know what I'm talking about? It was just like, you know, one race can't live with the other and both races hate each other. Oh, it was just such a good story. But then of course the Doctor finds Osgood. By the way, that was never 10 minutes for that bomb. Never 10 minutes. So the Doctor finds Osgood, and then they talk about the question marks and all the lapels. She asks him the question of, why don't you wear them anymore? And he comes out with, I do. I've got them in my underpants. And she comes out with, well, that just begs off the what is the question? Which I found quite funny. It's very subtle. Adults will get it, kids won't. It was very good. But then he's trying to figure out whether she's Zygon or human. She mentions both, so here we go, we're going back into the whole hybrid thing. So we've got two major plot points that have been run through every single story so far. We've got the plot point of death and the plot point of hybrids. So that's just that, you know, the whole series seems to be something to do with hybrids and death. Now, talking of death, we also see the underground where the Zygons are. Apparently the Zygons have already fought a battle and they've already taken over quite a few people in London, which explains a lot. So Clara has been copied. Now, we didn't see what exactly happened, but then we do see what happened. She got knocked out and then she got duplicated and stuff like that. So the Doctor is on his way back to the UK and the presidential plane. He is now the president of the world again. Whenever he's up in the air and inside that plane, he is the president of the world. Clara phones him and has a bazooka. And apparently the real Clara is now dead, as is Kate Lethbridge-Stewart and most of UNIT. And therein lays the end of the story. Now this, like I said, was a very, very involved story. There was so much going on with it. It's kind of hard to see what's going on. It's kind of hard to decipher what the end result is going to be. Now, for those of you who watch on the BBC, I don't know how many of you do, but I quite enjoyed the end of it where the announcer for the next programme came up and says, the Doctor will return next week. Or will he? That was brilliant. That was sheer insanity. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed this episode. It had a lot going for it. There was aliens, there was paranoia, there was a bit of racism, a bit of terrorism, a bit of fighting, a bit of battles. It was proper Doctor Who fodder, and he even referenced the old Zygon show, the Zygon Doctor Who episodes from the 70s and 80s, and they mentioned about the chemical weapon they had that turns Zygons inside out. Now, what happens when a Zygon kills someone? Well, we discovered they turn into gigantic hairballs of nothingness with electricity pumping through them that constantly crackle. Which begs the question, can a person be brought back from a Zygon attack? I don't know, but I guess we'll find out everything next week. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this, and I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I did. I would give it a solid 9 out of 10 for this one, actually. It's been rare for this season, they're mostly 8s. But yeah, so, oh god, someone doing that really. Bah! So tell me what you thought about the episode in the comments below, and let me know if you're still enjoying these. If you're still enjoying these, I'll keep doing them. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you next time, but until then, bye bye.